This is the coolest B580 I've seen. We now know more about Sony's FromSoft takeover, and we have some indication on what the RTX 5080 and 5090 pricing might look like. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're gonna be going over the hottest tech news that I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Friday, December 20th, 2024. We're getting close to the end of the year, and yesterday we held the giveaway for the Thermaltake Tower 600 PC over on Twitch. Thank you to everybody who tuned into that, which means we are now on to the next PC giveaway, which is this 14900KF 4090 PC. We're gonna be drawing that winner sometime in January, but in case you wanna get your entries in, you can come join us over on Twitch, twitch.tv/UFD Tech. We'd love to have you there. And I, for one, would love to have this graphics card by Maxim, who does not really sell things in the United States, so it makes me a little sad. But this is the B580 coming in with not just one, but two M.2 slots for you to add your storage onto. So you can get a $250 banger GPU and then add 8 terabytes of storage onto it. This is actually kind of an interesting way of doing it. We've seen different GPUs in the past that have allowed for M.2 storage. I believe the most recent one I can think of is the Asus 4060 Ti. This one takes a different approach. The 4060 Ti had a space on the PCB where you slotted in the SSD. This one just lets it overhang on the side. You can see based on the cooling shroud in the PCB that it actually overhangs to where the SSDs are gonna go, and the GPU cooler is longer than the actual GPU itself, and so it kind of holds it down, and it makes it accessible without you having to take the entire cooler off in order to swap out the SSDs, which is nice. It's a very intriguing way set up. Obviously, this creates some issues with PCI Express bifurcation and potentially not getting enough speed on your B580 if you're running something like a PCI Express 3.0 setup, but if you're on 4.0, it likely will be okay. But I gotta tell you, I'm always a fan of these quirky little GPUs, the things that just companies make their own, make it better for the end consumer, which is exactly what today's video sponsor does, Falcon Northwest, who's been in the game for over 30 years. You wanna talk about a company that makes things for their customers and does it for them? Just look at Falcon Northwest. Not only can they match their pre-built PCs to be bespoke to you, like me, the one I have at home has Reese's giant face on it. I look at the Deal Master every time I sit down to game. If you get Reese's consent, you could probably get Falcon Northwest to do it for you too. But Falcon Northwest has been in the pre-built game for over 30 years, since 1992. They've been taking care of their customers since then and making their way into the gaming market. And they were the first company to build PCs specifically for gaming all the way back then when Reece was still just in his mom's tummy. They have a whole range of options for you gamers. You want a mid-tower PC like I have, the Talon, that's what I game on. You can grab that. You could also grab the Frag Box, which has got a nice little handle, very compact for traveling in case you're on the road a lot and you need to bring a LAN station with you, or you just want something that you can lift up and down while you're gaming. They also additionally have the smallest one of the bunch, the Tiki, for just very low profile but very power dense gaming when you need something to just kind of sit off to the side from your monitor. And through all of the charity giveaways that we've done, as well as the Talon that we reviewed, you can see that Falcon Northwest has customized them in special SYNGAP Research Fund liveries to make sure that they are representative of what we've tried to do during our charity streams. But they're not just for gamers, they've also got workstations. Their Threadripper workstation was named one of PC Mag's best products of 2024. And with the quality that I've seen from their gaming PCs, it's not hard to guess why the Threadripper station's doing so well. And every PC is built specific to each client's order down to the custom artwork. They come with 3-year warranties, especially with the initial first year having overnight service being standard. If they can't figure out what potentially is popping up as an issue with your PC remotely, they will make sure that it gets overnight shipped to them and back to you so that you're not without your PC for too long. They also include coffee and coffee mugs in every PC that we've gotten from them. And when Intel was having their issues with the Raptor Lake and Raptor Lake refresh, Falcon Northwest was sending me emails with all of their discoveries on how I could prioritize my system settings to make sure that the system instability was resolved before Intel was even coming out with an acknowledgement of the situation. Falcon Northwest prioritizes their customers. It's not hard to see why they've been in business for over 3 decades. I wish them another good 3 decades, hopefully a little bit more. But you can check out Falcon Northwest with all of their products for yourself at the link in the video description. Whether it's for gaming with the Talon, the Tiki, or the Frag Box, or it's with one of their workstations, you won't be disappointed. Go with Falcon Northwest. Check them out down below in the comments. But speaking of, diagnosing issues and hiccups that are going on with gaming PCs, Microsoft coming out and acknowledging that if you have AutoHDR enabled on Windows 11 24H2, that might be crashing your games. So disable it for the time being. Certain popular games like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Need for Speed Unbound, they are having an issue where the AutoHDR is just crashing the game. So in case you've been experiencing that, maybe turn that off. And people are turned off by what Sony's doing with FromSoft, the game company that's brought us the hit game Elden Ring, as well as things like Bloodborne and Dark Souls, Armored Core, a lot of fan favorites. There were rumors coming out that Sony was going to acquire the parent company of FromSoft and thereby bring them under their umbrella. But now the details of that agreement have come out, and it's nowhere near as bad as everybody catastrophized that it was going to be. Sony is involved with the parent company of FromSoft, Kadokawa, but that is only to the tune of 10% ownership, roughly $300 million in shares. So now they are the largest shareholder of this company, but again, still only 10%. They will have a massive seat at the table, but it doesn't look like Sony's gonna be able to unilaterally make decisions when it comes to the future of FromSoft games. So it's not as bad as people were catastrophizing. Maybe this might yield some PlayStation exclusive Elden Ring cosmetic DLC in the future, but I wouldn't expect that this is going to make it so that all of a sudden Sony now has the rights to Dark Souls 5 and 4 moving forward, and it's only going to be a PlayStation 6 exclusive. And Reece has exclusively been experiencing a ton of bad luck when it comes to power since he's visiting his parents for Christmas. Reece, I hope you have deals today. I hope you have power today. It's been rough, buddy. I'm sorry.
Yo, welcome back to UFD Deals, bring the hottest tech deals out on the internet. Happy Friday, everyone. And hey, I have power, so I have more deals for you. Starting off today, we have this ASRock Phantom Gaming 27-inch 1080p 165Hz IPS gaming monitor for only $99.70, making it $80.22 off. But then if you want a bit of an upgrade from the Xbox controller we showcased the other day, you can grab the Microsoft Elite Series 2 wireless controller for only $119.99, making it $60 off. And then lastly, today we have the KingSpec XG7000 NVMe M.2 SSD with the 4TB version going for $190.99 with included promo code, making it $52 off. And hey, with that, the deals are done. You can find these and more linked in the video description down below. But until next time, I'm gonna hand you off back to Brett for the rest of your hot news. Cheers.
Well, Reece, it looks like DJI is getting a decent deal when it comes to the ban that was supposed to impact them just in a couple days. They were supposed to be banned at the end of 2024 for national security reasons. This is the same thing that we're hearing about TikTok, the same thing that we're now just hearing about TP-Link, the US government trying to ban companies that are unduly influenced by the Chinese government. And with a recent defense bill that was part of the agreement in that $900 billion package. But there is a provision where DJI can get an extra year to prove to an appropriate national security agency that it doesn't pose a national security risk for the United States. So that's what DJI is now going to have to do over the course of the next year to showcase that their products are not going to be unduly influenced by the Chinese government and make sure that the US feels comfortable with them. And if they can't produce that, then allegedly, as long as nothing changes in the next year, DJI could potentially be banned going into 2026. So there's a lot of tech companies that are currently being affected by the geopolitical situation that's happening. We'll keep you up to date on all of that. More details as we get them from TP-Link, more details as we get about TikTok and DJI, we'll let you know. But ChatGPT is not being restricted, it's being freed. OpenAI decided to have a 12 days of ChatGPT, kind of like a 12 days of Christmas thing, and on day 10, they announced that you can now call and or WhatsApp ChatGPT in case you're out of your mobile data and you can't think for yourself, or you need to have a recipe whipped up to you real fast. You can call toll-free 1-800-ChatGPT, and that will allow you to actually have a voice call with ChatGPT. If you're outside the United States, you can just WhatsApp this number, but that's 1-800-242-8478 in case this is interesting to you. I think the idea that you can call it if you run out of data is kind of neat. That's like a nice little implementation. I don't know. Does this intrigue you? Are you impressed by this? Are you going to be talking to ChatGPT more? Let me know down below in the comments. Well, I'd let you know that we are finding out more and more details about the RTX 50 series as the days drag on, and companies are accidentally whoopsie-doodling talking about a lot of stuff. And now we have some pre-built PCs indicating that there might be extreme prices coming to the RTX 5090 and 5080. Again, take this with a grain of salt. Pre-release prices do change all of the time. We've heard from different board partners like EVGA that NVIDIA sometimes will change the price last minute so that they don't even know what the price is this far in advance, even though we're expecting to get the announcement of these cards in 2 weeks. Jensen could decide as he's going up on stage to change the price, and we just have to deal with it. But there's two different PCs that are being listed with Arrow Lake CPUs with a 5090 and a 5080. The 5090 version is coming in at €6,000. The 5080 version is coming in at 3,500 euro, which means there's a 2,500 euro difference going from the 5080 to the 5090 in this setup. Now, there are other increases that you can see here. It increases the CPU from a Core Ultra 7 to a Core Ultra 9. It increases from 32 gigs of RAM to 128, and from a 1 terabyte SSD to a 2 terabyte SSD. So some of that pricing is obviously going to be the extra components that are being accounted for. Video Cards says that even if you account for that, you're still looking at between 1,500 and 1,750 euro price difference for just the graphics card component. Now, does that mean that the 5090 is going to be nearly $2,000 more expensive than the 5080? Probably not. There's profit margins going in on this. It's hard to completely say, but it does look like it's the GPUs aren't going to get cheaper, which is something that we probably could have assumed. And if you want to know how these pre-builds compare to the current generation of the 4080, 4090, unfortunately, I can't find anything comparable of the Orion 700 because they don't stock it in the Core Ultra. You can price it out with a 12700K and a 3080, which does not help us in this situation. So it's not quite clear how much more the 5080 is going to cost from the 4080, especially because you got the Core 2 Ultra stuff going on. 3,300 bucks is what we're looking at for this 14700KF, which is like roughly comparable, but it's not exactly, especially because it's outdated hardware at this point. So how much more expensive it's going to be than the 40 series, again, doesn't seem to be clear, but don't expect it to get cheaper would be what I would say. And continuing in that vein, Pallet is just saying all of the GPU names. They're just filing everything they possibly can with the EEC because this allows them to actually sell them when time comes for that to happen. They're just putting every GPU name that they could. You got the 5050, 5050 Ti, 5050 Super, 5050 Ti Super, 5060, 5060 Ti, 5060 Super, 5060 Ti Super, 57, 5070 Ti, 5070 Super, 5070 Ti Super, 5080, 5080 Ti, 5080 Super, 5080 Ti Super, 5090, 5090 Ti, 5090 Super, 5090 Ti Super. Likely half of those are made up GPUs that will never hit the light of day, but they are getting ready. 50 series does look like it is fierce and incoming, and you guys did that with the comments yesterday. Fierce and came in on to the comments to tell me what you thought. A lot of you agreeing that the B580 is a banger. Frontier Gaming saying B580 is saving the industry and my wallet. And then Kusu saying the B580 is an A grade card. And then some people responded, no, it's S grade. You ranked it too low. Space Raider saying, I just hope whoever takes over for Pat Gelsinger won't kill Ark now that it's finally making some headway. I wouldn't hold your breath on that. Obviously, I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know what the future holds. Intel has a lot of different areas where they could probably tighten their wallets and their purse strings and make sure that they are focusing on their core competencies. I really think the GPU is one of them. I don't know if executives would see it that way, especially with them having very, very little market share and still being a nascent player in the situation. I really hope, I really, really, really hope that they keep it going. I want to see Celestial, I want to see Druid, I want to see what Intel is going to continue to do down the line. Please, if anybody from Intel hears this, keep your graphics card division. And then GK Squid saying, TP-Link banned? You mean we have to wipe one piece of TP at a time? Ha! And then Dave the Man saying, I have the B580, you lucky, lucky person. Its drivers need some work, but overall works very well. In some cases, it scales better than it should. My 3060 couldn't play World of Warcraft at 4K without major lag. Somehow this card is 4K, no problem, 144 plus. No crashes for me yet, no blue screens. The only thing I've experienced is odd frame spikes depending on the game, but usually it only lasts until the shaders are cached. I'm very excited to see where the drivers go from here. They will only get better. That's not a given. I'm very excited actually. If the A series is anything to go by, I can expect even more performance being squeezed out of this card. I think games like Spider-Man, Dying Light, etc. show what the card could be doing in all games. They just need to optimize better for all of them. This card is a good investment, and it runs super cold. Steel Legend version doesn't use much power either. I'm excited for you. I'm glad that you have it. I hope that the drivers get better. I think this is a core philosophy I try to mentally abide by, and that is progress is not inevitable. Progress and developments and improvements are not inevitable. They have to be worked for. They have to be gained. They have to be earned. And so I really hope that the drivers will get better. I really hope that Intel continues down this path, but obviously with the shifting sands of what's going on with their executive team, it's hard to know. It's hard to know how much priority the software driver team is gonna get, how much money, how much affordability they're going to get in terms of making the right decisions for the customer, or are they just going to have to abide by strict corporate structures? It's not inevitable that things will go well in the future. And then Kate Clary saying, I really don't understand why the 7900 XTX gets so much hate. It is an excellent GPU. Driver updates have only improved it over time. I agree with the comment that was right below it. What hate? All I heard was people talking about how you should get the XTX instead of the XT because the price difference was so low. I really didn't see that much hate for the XTX. I really only saw love for the XTX. It was a great GPU at $1,000, especially when it was undercutting the 4080 by $200. When the 4080 Super came out at $999, with that price drop, it became less compelling, but then you could get it on sale. The 7900 XTX at that point was going as low as $650, $700, so you could really get a great value there. I think a lot of people agree that the 7900 XTX is a good performer. The only thing to hate on it is that it's power inefficient. It is just it's a power hog compared to the 40 series. You get 4090 power consumption for 4080 level performance, and that's not a trade-off a lot of people we're happy to make, but I don't know. I didn't hear much hate for the 7900 XTX. I like it. I like it a lot. And then we got Sven saying, Final Fantasy VIII introduced timing attacks for turn-based combat for me. Shoot the gun while you hit the blade. Good times. The Renzoku-ken is like the limit break. Such good times. Oh man. I should play Final Fantasy VIII on my Steam Deck again. I'm not gonna, but I feel like I should. And I feel like I should end this episode of Hot News. We'll be back here for more of the hottest tech news next week, my friends. Obviously, next week, there's a lot of holidays that are coming up over the next few weeks. So Hot News will try to be on some sort of general cadence when it comes to our releases. We should have a Christmas Eve episode and a Boxing Day episode, but probably not a Christmas Day episode and definitely not a New Year's Day episode. So we'll keep you updated. Again, if you want to come watch and join us over on our Twitch streams, twitch.tv/UFD Tech, entering into the giveaway for this 4090 PC right here. Love to have you join us for that. I'll see you back here next week.